welcome back to Kimbo's Crafts. Today's a little bit of a stormy day, so I figured it'd be a perfect time to go over my traveler's notebook. I've been using it for about a month now. I've added my own little charm here, not one of their branded ones. And I've added some inserts that I've worked with, and I want to rework it now that I've had it for a little bit. I've gotten an idea of how I actually want to use it. And one of the things was that I didn't have as many inserts as I was looking for. So the first thing here is this clear zipper folder. I have been using it around one book, but now I want to use it just sort of wrapping around the back of the entire book. I think it works best there. I'm just going to go with the one band. Now this is their writing board. I like to tuck it back here because it gives some stiffness to the entire book, but also I can take it out if I need to, and it's handy. And then here's the zipper pouch that I've got some stickers in and things that I can use. Now I was using this folder around one of the books. This is the standard book that comes with the kit. So I had it like this, and then I had this one like this. So just two books. But this time I'm going to add another one. So I want to get a third one in there. And I think I'm going to keep this one just wrapped around one book, but again, not this one. So I'm going to have these two back to back. So for that, you can buy these bands that they have. The actual kit comes with this band, and then this is the camel color, and so it came with this band, and then there was a band that was in it instead of this green one, and this green one was an extra. I decided to switch it out, so I have this green one, and instead of buying new rubber bands that they have to go around the book as they suggest, I just am going to repurpose the one that had been there. So this is the diary I've been using. You want to open it to the mid page. Go around the center like that. And then we're going to do the same with this one. Mid-page. So we have that. And I think the actual branded bands are stiffer than the elastic that I'm repurposing. I'll get those if this elastic breaks, but if I have it, I'd prefer to use it. So then you slip in the two that you've got through the band that is going through the notebook cover to hold that. And then I am going to insert the new book I've got. Now I decided to get their kind of limited edition black notebook. You can get this from their partner stores. That's where I actually got it from. And I decided to go with a black craft paper notebook because I'm kind of reliving my 90s, early 2000s girly days, I suppose. And I just love gel pens. And if you're around for that era, the Lisa Frank and all that, you probably already know gel pens, black paper, that was where it's at. And I think that'll really make my compositions pop. And this will probably be the traveler notebook of my dreams, at least for now. So then I'm going to go ahead and snug that in the folder, take this band that's around these two and work this in. So we have that centered. Okay. Now it all closes like that. I do have that book sticking out. Kind of need to get a way to work that together. With this flexible elastic band in the middle, I do think I can get that to fit better. There we go. This will be the string that'll go in where I'm currently writing. And then everything gets bundled up like that. One reason I changed the way I had my zipper pouch in there was originally I had around one notebook, and so this zipper clasp was actually sticking out, and I was worried it would get too beat up. I didn't actually like having anything sticking out in the edges, because this is one of those places that gets roughed up the most on a book. So if I can get them all in there flushed enough that they're protected by the leather, that's my goal. Keep a clean line. I do have my Traveler's Notebook clip. Again, it's super beautiful. Here, I'm just gonna clip right where I was leaving off in my diary. That's what I've been doing anyway. Something else I picked up. So I did have this pen clip in there. I think I'm still going to use it. I'll show you in a minute where, because I didn't really get around to liking it how it was sitting here. Instead, I found this pen clip. This is pleather. But it's magnetic. So that makes it pretty nice. And the pen that comes inside, I was actually quite impressed that it had this quill kind of tip. So I'm not sure quite if I'll love this, but it's something I want to try. And it can be magnetically put in here, or I might just go with just tucking in a pen. Anything other than having this pen hanging out here. So I'll test these options. Now, if you were watching my previous video, you probably heard or noticed what I said about trying out a smaller version Traveler notebook. I went ahead and I actually got a different independent seller's notebook here. This is real leather. I think he said Horween leather. I really love that it came with kind of an actual mark in it. You can tell it's quality by the way it is. And then it's got a different way of lacing. They put grommets in there, and it comes with an elastic and instructions on how to lace it yourself, and more elastic so you can fit more into it. And the reason I went with this instead of the passport-sized traveler's notebook is because of the fact that I prefer field notes, and they are so much bigger than passport. Luckily, I looked into it before springing for a passport one, because passports are actually this size. You can see the difference. And since I do use field notes and pocket notebooks pretty commonly, I already have quite a few stocked up, and they're just easier to get, and they're more widely available. I wanted something that would fit field notes. And since passports are smaller, they can fit here as well, which I'm going to put this one in this kit. It's the sticker release paper. Mostly I thought this would be helpful to have with me for traveling and getting stickers. If you go on tours, they usually give you stickers or those sorts of identifiers to keep on you, and I like to stick them in. And then the fact that you can actually peel it back off is great. Also, if I have a set of stickers that I want to use when traveling, I can stick it to the paper and then peel them off instead of having to worry about having kind of what you might have seen in the previous notebook that I showed, just loose stickers. That's something else I want to try. So I decided to get the little passport version because I think the next trip I'm going on, it's going to be a small one. I'm going to probably bring the pocket because that's what the size I've been using when I travel, and I think that's just the easier one to get into. So another thing to note is I do have these mini books that I got from Everyday Explorers. I have a little short video on that available. I was hoping they would be closer in size, but they really are not. So this will not work in the book. I think it's actually going to more likely be used in conjunction with my traveler notebook, the large traveler notebook, because really this is more the notebook that I use for journaling at this point. This is my household journal notebook that I grab, take and sit down. So maybe it'll go with me on other trips. Maybe it'll go with me for a walk in the park. We'll see, but this is quite bulky for a trip that involves plane travel and everything for me. Anyway, so I've got the field notes. I've got moleskin. And I also, so here's what I was mentioning about the elastics. So because I'm going to be using all of these and it came with this elastic, I chose to try out their rubber bands that they have. They're rubber bands, so they should stretch and hopefully not deform these books too much. We're going to go ahead and test it together and see. And I think I can fit 6 books in this. I'll go ahead and include a link in the description for the Etsy seller. He calls this the General or Admiral, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But it can fit, I believe on the post it says 6 books. So we're going to see because I've got many. There's the instructions that come with the rubber bands, although it's pretty similar to what I just showed you that we did with the elastic on the previous book. It's just that this is not a woven elastic, it's an actual rubber band. So I think this book, because it's smaller than these two, I think I will include these back to back. And we'll see how this rubber band works on slightly larger books. Oh, it's fine. I was a little worried it'd be too snug, but it actually works just fine. So that's good. That's good to know. So we've got the two books here. We're going to do the same thing we did before. It is a little confusing to me that there's so many bands to work with. I'm going to only pull out one because these are so much thicker than the others. Let's see, it feels at least twice as thick as the other elastic. So we'll go in that way. Oh, these are quite stretchy. And then we've got our release paper book that we will put in like so. And as you can see from just the way that's sitting in the book, how thick that elastic is. I might at some point replace the elastic because it is so thick, but it is sturdy and that's also a good thing. So we'll see if it bothers me too much. So there we've got 3 total books, 1 little sticker book. Something else I picked up with this was this folder. I wanted to see what it had to offer because again, you have ephemera and things. I was hoping there would be an easier way to run an elastic through it, but it does have a hole in it. So I think you know what, give me some time to think about that. We'll work that in. So I've got 2 more field notes and another pink book. I'm going to go with the brown, pink look here. And this time I'm going to go with the black rubber band again. It's nice to have so many because this will inevitably fail. So I've got plenty to work with if that does snap. Okay, 1. You'll notice I got the set of the field notes that came with the lined, the blank, and the grid. They all have something different to offer. The Moleskine books only come lined, but they do have these little folders in the back. So again, if I can't get this folder in, that's okay. I can work this folder in. I'll find a purpose for this. I do have lots of little ephemera laying around. So then we go behind the band again. Pink notebook with pink stitching. These Moleskines come in all sorts of colors, so if you're not a pink girly, don't worry, you can find something else. All right, so we have 6 books in here. And it shuts. The Moleskine is sticking out a little longer because of the way it snugs between those books. But I think if you push it in, hold it, and then bundle the elastic, it'll protect it just fine. As I said, I wanted to still use my pen holder, and I think it's just the right size here. I'm just not entirely sure how I can, where I should clip it to get the best fit. I have been finding it's pretty much going to have to go on the leather itself because of how thick it is. Earlier I was putting it on the folder. Could also be used as a bookmark. That's something to look into. I think I'll go on the cover so it's more visible. Oh, this leather is thicker. Something to keep in mind is sturdier. I think it's not suede like the Travelers, and I think I kind of like that better. I think it'll wear really well and have its own personality, different than the Travelers. I think this pen, I was finding a way to tuck it in with the elastic on the longer Travelers, but it was kind of clunky because it was barely reaching the elastic. Here, let me sort of show you. It's just not as long, whereas this is pretty snug in here, so I feel like this will just work better for me, and it's more compact. At least for traveling, it'll work better. I can just throw it in the bag and go. It's pretty small. Now, for this folder, I think we can work it in. So earlier I pulled together an elastic, but I think we can lace it through that hole in the bottom of this folder and find a way to attach it with this elastic, similar to how the books are put together. All right, so I was able to get my elastic untied. I cut out the struggle moment so you didn't have to watch me, because that took a minute. Let's see if we can get that hole open. There we go. Didn't require a sewing needle or anything. Okay. Let's bring it all the way around. Kind of line up the bottoms here. Now to get a good tight knot, you want to stretch it out. Should have left it a little longer to work with. So you want to stretch it out. Make just a simple knot. There you go. And it shouldn't be too tight that it's deforming or bending the plastic. This is very thin plastic, actually. You can see I've already bent it a little. So here, this is small enough, it can go inside a notebook. It can go right here in between them, which might be a really nice place, actually. So I'm just going to loop it around a nearby neighbor notebook here. And then I've got my little folder. It's small, so it doesn't take up much room. And now this is maxed out for notebooks. I'm not sure I'm going to actually keep all these notebooks in here. In fact, because I do travel, I'm going to try it with all of them in there on my next trip, because it's not that big of a trip, and so I'm not going to need so much room in my luggage. But on my normal travels where I take just one book, I think this is a good way of kind of putting them all together in a keepsake way. I can always take out this sticker book. I think I'll probably, as long as stickers can stick to it and come back out, this will probably be used till it dies. But these can all be filled in and then later on stored in this so that I can go back and look at my individual trips. That's always an option if I don't find myself in love with actually traveling with it. And this folder, like I said, I was thinking it could be used for ephemera, small things. The moleskins also come with folders, though, much more stiff. So we'll see how that gets use. This one doesn't have a charm. It's very utilitarian. But that's how I've got that. It also has the band coming out the side instead of the back. Now, I haven't written in this one because it is more of my travel option that I'm going for. I have been writing in the famous Traveler Notebook branded one, where the rubber band or the elastic comes out of the back. And so I have not personally actually had issue with writing that. And that's another reason why I keep that pencil board inside. But I have heard some people don't like it. So it's, if you're not interested, this one comes out the side. And yeah, I got it in a darker color. I think it matches the pen holder perfectly. So that's how I decided to set up my traveler's notebooks. Let me know what you think. If you have one yourself, what kind of items you like to put in there, and how you like to use them. Have a good day.